Welcome to the Wellness Amazon podcast, where we talk about everything body, mind, and spirit, health, and wellness. No subject is taboo here, and we have fun peeling back all the layers. Let's do this. Welcome, everybody, to a new episode of the Wellness Amazon podcast with such a lovely, I'm so excited subject today that is so in depth and so ridiculously big. But Anika here, our trusted sidekick, is brave and said, yes, I will brave this. And it's astrology, the big subject of the stars and the planets and everything. So welcome, Anika, to the show. And thank you so much for being brave.
Thank you for having me again.
All right. Wow. Astrology. How did you get there?
I mean, I would say for me, it was like a general interest starting with like the newspapers back when I was a kid, where you always would have like your astrology, like the zodiacs, the energy of the week or whatever, which now I know it's only the sun sign. It doesn't really mean so much, right? As we will probably discuss in this episode, that there's much, much, much more to it than just your sun sign. But it always made me think, oh yeah, oh, this is so fitting, which most of the time it kind of can fit with,
Yeah.
you can interpret it in a way that it would make it fit for the day or whatever. But I also like just always had like a resonance to it. Like, oh, okay, so what is this? Like, is there what more is to it? And as I grew older, I just learned more and more about it and got a lot of books about astrology and just got fascinated with it, like with everything else that I'm into. So yeah, that's kind of how it started.
Yeah. It's interesting because I think that's where everybody starts with astrology, right? Is with the little daily
Yeah.
horoscope.
Yeah, I think you either go the route, oh, this is so intriguing, or you're like, no, I totally don't believe in it, which I
Right.
respect as well.
Right. So what is astrology for you?
For me, it's an energetic map of consciousness, kind of. Like it's
Uh-huh.
not something that is, so to say, written in the stars. Yes, there are things that I believe are written in the stars, but it's more like an energetic thing. It's like, it's not something that overrides your free will, or it's also not destined, it's not like a destiny, like this is how it is. It's more like potential
Yeah.
and opens curiosity. Like it's not something set in stone. It's really just potentials, either beneficial potentials or you might want to be careful here. Like if you really know how to use it,
Uh-huh.
there's a lot of people that have used astrology in the past, very prominent people as well. For example, most people don't know it, but Ronald Reagan and Nancy Reagan had a personal astrologer.
Oh, wow.
So that astrologer would look at their charts and would advise them to, okay, this is a good day for like a speech or to go there or to make certain agreements or whatever. So, or would advise against certain days to do certain things. So, most people don't really know it, but I think it's so cool and interesting. And I feel like there's for sure, like, how you have days that you just cannot explain, like, what is it today? I feel so off, like something is not right. And most likely it's like the energies in the skies
Uh-huh.
that do that to you. So
Yeah.
yeah, and you either learn how to adjust or maybe to value that information and like, okay, maybe today is a day that I take things a little bit more slowly, or reflect more on things, and then the next day will be different. Like, also, what I think is very interesting is, for example, the moon in astrology. We have 13 moons in a year, right? So
Uh-huh.
full moons. And the female body has, like, a female has a period 13 times in a year.
Yeah.
So I think there's like things that work together, and there's a reason for it. So yeah.
Yeah. I I don't wanna derail this, but I have to say this now that you mention it because I just read this the other day, and it was so interesting, and it reminds me of our episode that we had about feminine energy, and we talked about the moon and how this is yin energy. So they have some studies. I'm not gonna cite anything. I don't even know where to find those. I saw it on social media, so please forgive me. But there's studies that said until about 2010, women were way more inclined with the moon and their cycle, and then it just suddenly dropped off. And
Interest.
the scientists behind that study say, "We are pretty sure that this is because of smartphones, devices, and LED lights."
Ah,
So this
okay.
whole revolution about light bulbs is screwing with us and our circadian rhythm so much that
Mhm.
it threw a lot of women out of their moon cycles.
Wow.
And yeah, I have an app. I mean, it's not really I guess I mean the moon is a planet, so it is part of astrology, but I really do try to wash my hair with the moon. I cut my
Mm,
hair with the moon. Sometimes I look into what sign is the moon in and what body parts does this
affect.
affect, right?
Yeah.
And it always resonates with me.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
yeah.
When I used to live in Germany in the Alps, there were a lot of people that would, like, especially farmers and like those old mountain people, that
Mhm.
just have this intuition, like very, very much like are in tune with that. They would do everything with the moon cycles.
Yeah.
And it was just like a traditional, cultural, nature oriented way of still doing things, and it would really, like, they would really say like it's crazy, like my our grass is greener, and
Mhm.
everything, like, yeah,
It's
so
crazy
there's
when
things to
people
it.
I mean, everybody can be skeptical. It totally supports good, healthy skepticism, right?
Mhm.
However, when it comes to the moon, you don't believe in any of the moon's power. It's just science. I mean, the tides answer to the moon. The
Yeah,
moon is in charge of
yeah,
water on this gravitational pull, right?
yeah.
So people sometimes, have issues or health issues on the full moon.
Oh yeah, parasites, for
Parasites,
example.
yeah,
Mhm.
exactly.
Yeah.
Mhm. It
Or also it's statistically proven that on full moons there is more crime activity,
Mhm.
stuff
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
My mother used to work in like an overnight jail for 30 years, and you ask her today, "Hey, anything around the full moon?" If she would go to work because she had night shifts, day shifts, right? If she
Mhm.
had a night shift on the full moon, she would tell me, "Oh, this is gonna be awful tonight." I'm like, "Why?" She's like, "Oh, it's a full moon and I have night shift. That's when all the crazies come out." I mean, she knew. Even
Yeah,
ER nurses will tell you the same thing. Mhm. It's a thing.
that's insane. Yeah, it is a thing for sure.
People wolf out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, what is what is astrology not? Let's clear up some
Okay, yeah.
stigmas.
So it's not fortune telling. It's not like witchcraft stuff, evil stuff. Which, I mean, we had this topic before. If you want to do bad things, you always find ways to do bad things, right? But it's like, I feel like a lot of people think, oh, if someone is into astrology, they are like witches, and I don't know, it's not that. Yeah, and it's also not. It doesn't determine who you are.
Uh-huh.
Like, it's not like, oh, like, of course, there are certain energies, and also all of us have all energies of the zodiacs in us. It just depends where and how prominent they are and with what planets and what houses, what portrays itself more and in what way, like light or shadows or whatever, right? There's so much to it, but we all have basically everything in us. The one just has more of that and less of that, and that's how it works. But you cannot just blanket statement say, okay, I hate all Leos, for example.
Mhm.
Is there a thing to it where, a certain zodiac has like a, this type of energy with another zodiac? Yes, that's for sure a thing. But it doesn't mean necessarily that it has to be like that with every single person. Um, but of course there's like patterns, let's
Mhm.
say. Yeah, and it's for sure not something that determines who you are.
Mhm.
Not like as like not directly. You always have a free will, and you are responsible for your life too, but it's just energies, like it's just this energetic beneficial or not beneficial thing that is out there. So
Yeah. Do you know how long this has been around?
I don't know, I mean forever, I would say. I
Uh-huh.
mean, we can go back maybe to this, I don't know, probably the Sumerians already knew
Mhm.
about astrology. I mean, there are so many, when you think of like the pyramids as well. Um, there's astrology connections in every ancient civilization that we have, that we know of.
Yeah.
So I think it's probably been around since, I don't know, forever. Who knows? I don't know. Probably nobody knows.
Right.
Because you could go into this whole thing of how many universes are there and
Right. Right. I
yeah.
mean, astronomy, has always been important for people because it's always been I mean, it's a guiding light,
Uh-huh.
where follow the Venus, follow the morning star, whatever. And then astrology is just a deeper fascination into, well, what does it mean? You know?
Yes. Yeah.
So I know you are very talented and you are self-taught with this, but
Mhm.
extremely, I mean, you're very well versed because you do natal charts too.
I
And
do. Yeah.
I think that's where the magic really happens when we talk about astrology. Because like you said, if I read the newspaper daily horoscope, it's like, could this pertain to anyone? But once you start looking at a natal chart, that's when we get to the nitty-gritty where you're like, no, you cannot put this on just anyone.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about
Yeah, so your
natal
natal
charts.
chart is your astrological blueprint at the time of your birth.
Mhm.
What the information you need to create a natal chart is when you were born, also what time and where. That is very important. And then you have, like, you can see where like how the stars aligned, where the planets were, in what houses and whatnot. And you can, so in normal, this newspaper astrology thing, we only talk about the sun sign here. That's like where
Mhm.
the sun was at the place of your birth. So, I'm a Libra, for example. So the sun sign, though, is only like your core identity. It's like the essence and the purpose of who you are. So it is one of the more important signs, of course. So, for example, for me as a Libra, I really, really also feel like a Libra, like the energies of Libra. I have a really deep connection to this. But then you also have like all the other planets and then the signs where, what sign was what planet was in the sign in your natal chart. So we have the big three, for example, which is the sun sign, the moon sign, and your rising sign, or also known as your ascendant. The
Mhm.
moon sign is your emotional nature, like your inner world, how you feel. So yeah, that's like the moon sign, which is also very important. It's just like how you. I'm a Cancer, like moon Cancer, and that's like also the home planet for Cancer. So
Uh-huh.
it's like I'm very emotional. And then the ascendant is how you appear to others, or your approach to life, right? Like I know, for example, your ascendant is Leo.
Uh-huh.
If I would meet you for the very first time, I would think you are a Leo. Like
Uh-huh.
you have this energy of Leo, like how you look and how you present yourself to me, you know? Um, but of course, there's much deeper layers to you, and then your sun sign reveals that. Um, so those three together, the big three is what they're called. They're already give someone that dabbles a little bit in astrology already a pretty good picture when you kind of know the energies of planets and the zodiac signs. But then, of course, the deeper levels are, then we have Mercury, we have Venus, we have Mars, we have Saturn, we have Uranus, Neptune, Pluto. Um, each of these then, shows how all those planets express themselves. And, but that's not all.
Mm-hmm.
We also have the houses. So we have 12 zodiacs. We have 12 planets, and we have also 12 houses. And the houses reveal um, where those energies, like, where they play out. So every house has a certain energy. For example, the first house is self and identity. It's like
Mm-hmm.
um, your self and identity, your vitality, your confidence, self-awareness, but also the shadow side of it can be like ego-driven behavior or like self-centeredness. Like it depends how it's reflected. Then you have the second house, which is values and possessions, money, materialism, all of those things, comfort. Third house is communication and learning. Fourth house, home and roots. Fourth house is also very connected with the mother often.
Uh-huh.
Then the fifth house is creativity and pleasure. Then we have the sixth house, which is work and health. Seventh house is partnerships. Eighth house is transformation and intimacy. Ninth house is philosophy and expansion. 10th is career and public life. 11th is community and vision. And the 12th is the unconscious in spirit, or also like death.
Mm-hmm.
So, um, those are the houses, and like everything basically plays with each other. And except if you were born with someone at the very same time in this very same place, nobody on earth has the same natal chart.
Uh-huh.
So that is very, very important to to mention. And also, because if that is not enough, right? You also have aspects. So
Mm-hmm.
do you have aspects in astrology that show how all of those energies interact with each other? Is there
Uh-huh.
harmony? Is there tension? Like, is there an opposition? Is there a conjunction, which probably some people have heard of? All those things, and that also determines, especially in synastry, I think is the word, right? Like partnership,
Mm-hmm.
relationship, natal charts, like to see, oh, how do I fit with my partner or the potential guy here or girl? You can see a lot with aspects. Like if something bites itself energetically,
Uh-huh.
or it has the tendency, or if something is very harmonious and um
Uh-huh.
yeah, because there is for sure certain planets that like and dislike each other, kind of like it's this energetic, again, the yin and yang or female male. Those energies play a role in astrology a lot. So yeah, so it's really like this huge ecosystem of things.
Yeah. Before I've ever seen a natal chart, all I ever knew about was the sun sign and then the rising moon. That was
Mhm.
it. I didn't even I didn't even know what my moon was in. I only knew the ascendant and the sun sign. I knew I was Pisces and a Leo. And then when I went, with my former astrology friend and then with you, I was like, "What do you mean the moon? I thought the moon is the ascendant." They're like, "No, no, that's the rising moon. Moon's something different." So I didn't even that's where my knowledge ended.
Yeah.
And then all these things came up with houses and planets and what they mean and where they are. And so you're saying that if you give birth to twins, they can have the same natal chart, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
If they are born at the very, very same time, but even I have to think, I mean, since they're only apart a few minutes, they would
Yeah.
still, I believe, have the same sign because the moon doesn't move that fast, which the
Right.
moon is the first, right, the fastest moving planet.
Mhm.
Um,
Unless it's
yeah.
right on that verge where
Right, yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, they
Mhm.
do. They really do. But it doesn't mean, and we all know this, that twins, yes, they can be very similar, but they can also feel like they are very like opposite. Um, and that has to do like astrologically thinking. There's different energies for each thing. So there's like the light, I always call it the light aspects and the shadow aspects, and it's
Mhm.
like it really depends where you're at, so it's not the same for everybody.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah, it sounds like what you're saying is mm, it's also a choice because you mean you're born with free will and then the whole
Mhm.
nature and nurture aspect of it, right?
Yes,
Mm.
yes, but we also do know, and I wonder if that also has to do with astrology, I don't know, but twins have a very deep connection
Uh-huh.
with each other. They even like sometimes dream the same dreams and feel like they have a connection that you cannot explain. Um, so I wonder if that has to do with that because there is like this alignment, like unconscious alignment.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I don't know. Of course, like you can just wonder.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fascinating.
hmm
Um, Walk us through maybe the planets and the houses and see what comes up with, what they mean, what also the planets mean, because I think that knowledge, if you give us that, is also super helpful for when maybe you see something on social media where somebody talks about retrogrades, right? Because every planet can be in a retrograde, but beyond Mercury, I never know what that means.
Yeah, I mean, on to be honest, out of on top of my head, I don't know every single retrograde either. I'd have to look it up. Mercury is the most known,
Mhm.
the one for like communication and yeah, if your phone is weird, wonky, or computer, then uh,
Yeah.
yeah, that's that. And I mean, what I can say is like retrogrades are not always like bad luck or something. It's just like they invite you to pause and reflect.
Mhm.
So that's kind of the energy of that. The Saturn return one is also one thing that is very known, or there are songs about it and stuff like that. Saturn, that means, or in general, when like a planet return, could also be Jupiter or whatever, is when the planet goes back to its original position where it was in your natal chart when you were born. So for Saturn, that's only every 29 or 30 years because that's how long it takes that
Mhm.
planet
Wow.
to go around. With Jupiter, I believe it's 12. So that's always those are always very transformational um, shifts in your life.
Mhm.
So think back to when you were 29, 30. Were there transformational shifts going on? Doesn't have to be like anything super crazy. It can also just be a consciousness shift or something that
Right.
you completely changed your mindset about things. Yeah, so it can be that. And in general, the planets, so yeah, we had the sun, the moon. Venus is mostly the one for like love and, romantic, like that's the energy of Venus, beauty, style, those things. So what do we have? Mars is a very male energy planet. I always think of the wands in tarot, and I think of Mars too. Like it's
Oh.
this fire energy, the red planet, right? Like
Uh-huh.
it's this not bad, but like there's action here. There is movement. There is tension. It's also a very sexual planet. Like when you think of
Oh.
attraction. For example, when two people meet and their birth charts would have either Mars in a, what is the word in English again? Like opposite or in opposition. So it kind of really, they bite each other there. That's like sexual tension. Like that's like this sexual attractiveness. Like you feel drawn to someone, like their sexual energy. Or it can also be Venus and Mars. Like
Uh-huh.
one has the Venus, one the Mars. If they're in a good aspect to each other, that also means like there's like some tension here, like in a positive way. Saturn, like it's like this very transformational. Also, mostly Saturn is looked looked as not like the most beneficial planet, like Jupiter, for example, very beneficial planet. I mean, Jupiter, we talk about everything you can gain, money, a house, like your wishes coming true. That's like Jupiter. And Saturn is kind of the one that is not so desired most of the time.
Uh-huh.
Um, Mercury, we had communication. And the big ones, I'm always a little bit behind with the big ones like Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, because it's always a generational thing with those planets because they
Uh-huh.
take so long to go through the zodiacs, and it's more like a generational energy.
So we're
And
talking
then,
about decades.
yes,
Uh-huh.
yes,
Uh-huh.
yes, generations. Did I forget anything?
Let's see. Well, we talked about the moon and the sun, and then Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto. Chiron.
Chiron is always very mostly connected to, I don't want to say fate, but like it's like the healing planet.
Uh-huh.
It shows you mostly like places that you need healing. Also,
Oh.
some people say it has to do with reincarnation lessons and stuff like that, which, but it's the healing. It's like I always think of it of the healing. It
Uh-huh.
shows us where we need healing.
Yeah.
But back to the big ones like Uranus, I just have here on my notes, it takes 84 years. With Neptune 165, with Pluto 248. Yeah, so
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah.
But Uranus is revolution and innovation and freedom, which I love all of those.
Yeah.
Neptune, dream, spirituality, and illusion. Um, Pluto is transformation, power, and rebirth. But as they take so long, right? You always look of, okay, in what zodiac are they right now? For example, Pluto was in Scorpio in 1983 and 95. So there was like a deep emotional transformation, a lot of shadow work and trauma awareness. What is the most recent one here? Uranus in Aquarius.
Uh-huh.
1995 till 2003 was digital natives, tech revolutionaries, collective thinkers, right? And we saw that, like the
Yep.
internet and all that. So
Yeah.
that's that energy. Yeah. And then wherever those planets fall in your chart, shows you kind of how you connect to those themes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Interesting.
hmm
What is the north node and the south node? That they always throw me off. I never know what they are.
I also see the north nodes and south nodes as past life stuff.
Uh-huh.
Yes. And honestly, when I do natal, what?
I'm going to read my natal chart for the 500th time after we're done here because now I'm like, wait a second, hold on, what?
Yeah,
Uh,
and those are always kind of like, okay, there was that was like a theme in your past life.
mhm.
Does that make sense?
It does, it
Yeah.
does. And I have to say, I have to toot your horn a little bit too, because when you do natal charts, the fun thing about it is, or it's something that I've never seen before, you add affirmations
Mhm.
to all of the cliffhanger, so to speak, and the crystal that will connect with that you can
Yeah.
then meditate with it, or, wear in your jewelry or whatever. So that I think is a very nice touch, and it's
Mhm.
a beautiful thing, because a natal chart, reading it on your own, as we're just discovering, right? It
It's so
can be it doesn't matter how in depth it is. It's so difficult because, yeah, I don't make those connections to. I can read all the houses and I can read all the planets, but then you're the one who says, "Hey, these two things are connected, and this is how they are working beautifully together, or not,
yeah,
and this could be something you need to work on or not," right? And
or not.
I I'm not an astrologer. I don't know, right? Without the right guidance of someone who can read this so
Mhm.
much better.
Yeah, I because I do believe like there's really those different energies for every position, and it really depends on where you're at, and you only know that. Like an astrologer cannot tell you where you're at exactly. Like you have to go in resonance with my more on the shadow side here, or am I living the light? And it doesn't mean like good or bad. It doesn't mean that when you live more in the shadow side that that's like, oh, I'm bad, or oh, I'm not like, you know, I could be better. No, no, no. It really depends. Like it's just energies, and you can play with them and interact with them or not. It's like
Mm,
up to you. Like free will is the most important thing here, for sure. But
yeah.
you can use certain qualities that already are kind of in your blueprint, archetypes, right? Like my Libra thing is like, I just love balance and harmony so, so much. And I struggle as a Libra to have polarity in some ways. Like I want that everybody always gets along, but that's not how life is. And
Mhm.
then I struggle with that, and it's something that it's like my shadow, right? Like I need to learn to, okay, be cool with, okay, there's something that is not harmonious right now, and that's just how it is, and I just have to get over it.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah, so that's how
Yeah.
everything then has its energies. What do you feel most connected to when you think of your, let's even say the big threes, like your
Mhm.
ascendant, your sun, your moon. Do you feel this connection knowing this?
I feel very connected to all three of them, and I have to tell you, when that was explained to me the first time, what they are and what they mean, it was like 500 light bulbs going off, because even when I was young, even as a teenager, people always told me when they got to know me, "Oh, you're actually a nice person." And I always thought, "Excuse me?" "Well, when you come in the room, everybody looks at you and you look kind of arrogant and a little intimidating, and so unattainable. It's like everybody wants to put a crown on your head, because it's just that's the only thing that's missing on you, right?" And it's always been that I've always had this hair. I've always had this lion hair. I've always had this whatever. But actually, deep inside, the Pisces wants to just disappear into the earth and wants nobody looking at her
The
like, "Don't
hermit.
look at me." Right. The hermit. Yeah, the hermit's coming out. It is like, mm-mm, no, I want to be under my little seashell. And I don't know why you think I'm any of those things. But
Mm,
that's always been like this, that sensitive, romantic, flowy Pisces is underneath all of this somewhere, right?
mm,
And then the air, I mean, if you think about it, I'm a water sign, but both moons are fire. And I'm an Aries, and or my moon is in Aries. And when I look at how my emotional state, I'm like, yeah, I don't really act a lot like the soft-spoken little flower.
Yeah.
I get angry very fast. Um, and it's that leadership thing sometimes that comes out. But in the quiet, when there's no one there, or only people that I know very, very well, right? When there's nothing else going on, that's when the Pisces is just unfolding,
Oh, do
right?
you feel
That's
more like a Pisces or do you also feel very Leo-ish?
it's almost like I feel when I have to function, just adulting,
Mm,
you know? I feel very Leo Aries.
mm,
That energy is very present during the day. But when I can relax, it's all Pisces. And the Pisces, these qualities, there's always things that speak to me that will never be attractive to the Leo or the Aries, but it's attractive to the Pisces. And I will always gravitate to those things, right?
okay.
To romance, to poetry, to art, to just very flowy, feminine, soft, sensitive things. They will always speak to me. I
Mhm,
don't like I cannot even connect to the colors necessarily of these others. Like I don't like reds
mm,
or angular things. I need brown things and soft colors and pastels and, every
yeah,
once in a while I like darker colors, but they have to be presented in a romantic way, right? So that's where I notice like, yeah, no, the Pisces is very present. It just doesn't always show its face.
yeah.
Mhm.
That's awesome. And also, like, what was your Venus? I don't
I have
remember.
your natal chart, I can tell you. Venus. Oh, my Venus is in Aquarius.
And now, do you know from your partner's Venus?
I'm trying to remember. I think his Venus was in Capricorn.
Okay. But Aquarius, that's interesting for him.
Mhm. 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 Yeah,
Yeah.
it is true that I am because the first thing that comes to mind when I think Aquarius, in terms of people who are Aquarius, right? They're easily bored.
Mhm.
They
And they're
always need to move.
rebellious.
Yes, they need to
Yeah.
be action.
Freedom
They always
loving.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
And I am like this
Yeah.
with with love and relationship.
And Capricorn is like the
Mhm.
very diligent, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Which I can see that with us. I'm the one who's never quite in just one place, and
Mhm.
he is doing everything to meet that demand. Just
Yeah.
like, okay. At first I thought it's not a good mix, but then I thought, no, it is.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Absolutely. What's interesting too is in my case, like my Venus, I have Leo in Venus, and my partner is sun
Yeah.
sign Leo. That is always a good thing. Like when you have a certain planet in your Venus, the zodiac, whatever you have in Venus, that is a good indication of like what you look for in love. But it doesn't have to write exact, like, again, like it's not like, oh, this is has to be this way or this. It's just the energy then is favorable.
I agree. And it's interesting, like you said, that yours is a Leo and then he is the Leo. I
Hmm.
mean, that's probably also where that magnetism maybe happens, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Absolutely. He doesn't have um, lot of Libra aspects, but I'm cool with it.
You have enough of it.
And he's also not like a Leo. As a Leo, you would never think he's a Leo. In fact, like he's on the cusp of Cancer. So to me, he most of the time has like more Cancer qualities than Leo qualities.
Mhm.
And if he has those Leo qualities, they are all, to me, on the light side. Like, because the other Leos I know, they're so different. So different. So that's just amazing to observe those things in people and finding out like their
Yeah.
zodiac stuff. So never tell me your birthday because I'm gonna look it up. At some point, maybe. Not always.
Same.
Sometimes with people I do. When I have to think, gosh, there's some tension there or there's like some weirdness. And then when I look up the birth chart and I'm like, okay, it makes sense. It's just biting, you know?
Okay.
For me, it's Virgos. Not always though, because like one of my favorite human in the world, my grandma, is a Virgo, and
Mhm.
we are like besties. But the tendency sometimes is that not that I don't get along with a Virgo, but there's like this energetic misunderstanding. It's what I
Mhm.
would call it. It's an energetic misunderstanding sometimes. So,
Mm.
and as a pattern because I noticed it with Virgos so much.
Mhm.
And we had this talk before with
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. I mean, the Virgo is, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, from a astrology perspective, is the opposite of the Pisces. They are right across from each other
Mhm.
on the wheel.
Yes.
And my best friend is a Virgo. I know her since I'm 14 years old, and she is the opposite. We are so in so many things, we are the opposite. However, I look at her and she knows what I'm saying in my head. You know, we communicate without words. We are so
Mhm.
connected on a deeper level, even though we're not the same. We have so many opposite things. Like I'm the one who's all these metaphysical things and astrology. She would probably listen to this and be like,
Very
bogus, you know?
rational,
Yeah,
organized. Yeah.
very, very,
Mm.
very. And I appreciate that about her, and she appreciates my side. So it's just I don't know, we just found each other but also maybe it's also the thing that we kind of grew up with each other. It's been such a long time. We know each other and we know how the other person ticks
Mhm.
and it's okay. We've we've clashed, but for the fact that we know each other for decades, very few times. But I can see how that energy can be challenging for people. And I know that in my entire this is just another example, my life through my parents and then my husband and his first wife, it was the same energy. It was a female Capricorn, I think, and a male Pisces. And nope. Absolutely not. Right? Not saying that they never work out, but in that case, it was just not. I think if it was reversed, it might have worked.
Mm.
But there's then the polarity is coming in, right? With the yin and yang energy. The
Yeah.
Pisces is just so sensitive. And I mean, everybody who knows my husband, my husband is a hunk of a man. It's not, you don't look at my husband and go, oh, he's a very sensitive man.
No.
No, 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 absolutely not. However, again, that's where that deep, deep, deep inside, his rising moon is a Capricorn. So he is that structured, I work hard, that's what he just, the energy he gives off, right?
Yeah.
But the deep, deep inside that only few people know, that's when the Pisces comes out.
Mm.
Hmm.
That's I always, like, it's like the coconut or the peach. The coconut has, like, the hard shell, right? And then it's
Hmm.
soft inside, and then the peach is very soft and fuzzy, but the inside is really hard, so
Hmm. I have a kid like that. Hmm. I don't know what her rising moon is, but she's a Scorpio, and she's more of the peach.
I have one myself, a Scorpio kid.
Hmm.
They are special.
Yeah, yeah, and I think they are the epiphany of the peaches. Most of the time they look so more soft, maybe, and innocent.
Mhm.
And not that they're not, they are definitely are because they are a water sign, but they are. I mean, at least mine, with like the loyalty aspect.
Mhm.
If you do something to her or others.
Yeah, same. Same with
Mhm.
mine. Which is I love Scorpios so much. I love Aquariuses too. Actually, like, you're the only Pisces, really? Like, I don't know many Pisces, as far as I know. I really love Libras as well.
Yeah, it's funny because I'm a Pisces, my husband is a Pisces, my dad is a Pisces, my stepmom is a Pisces. They're both actually, they're February Pisces, and me and my husband were March Pisces. I have so many friends that are a Pisces, even in the same week as my husband and I, and he's a Pisces. Same, it's like all these Pisces are constantly in my life, and it's just like a big pond. And
Oh, a big pond of fish.
yes, big pond of fish. And my youngest is always so mad because she's in Aquarius, and she's like, I don't understand why I'm not water. My sign is water. It's waves. Why am I air? I don't understand. I'm like, well, honey, it's because you're very aloof.
Mhm. That's
So yeah, we
hilarious.
have a very watery household.
Yeah, it seems like it. Very emotional peeps. That's
Hmm.
awesome, though.
So if someone needs to know more about what we're just discussed, their planets and their houses and what these things mean and because I love this about your natal charts as well. There is light and shadow, which is the good side of this and which is the side of it we might have to work a
Uh-huh.
little bit on it. And then the transformation of the shadows. I mean, this is like, it's not just like a blueprint, it's almost like a handbook. It's a handbook how to work with yourself,
Uh-huh.
how to really get into the depth. And I remember when I was intrigued by the whole shadow work thing, and I didn't know how to approach it. And this actually helped a lot because it gave me a little bit of a cliff notes
Yeah.
to where to start with. Where can people find you?
On Etsy. Yeah, I have an Etsy store. I mean, you can link it in the
Mm-hmm.
descriptions where you can just buy either the printables that I offer or the natal charts.
Mm-hmm.
And there's different ones too. Like I offer the normal natal chart and then the one that has more information. So whatever you like more, basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what do people have to do? They just put it in the cart and then put their information in? Does this
Yes, they
automatically
would
work?
need to give me their birth date and time if they know it,
Mhm.
and the place where they were born, the
Yeah,
city and country,
yeah.
and then
Most of the time, and I don't know how it is in the United States because every state fills out different, birth certificates, but usually it's on your birth certificate. So if you have that, you should know what time you're born.
yeah. Yeah, it's important really. I mean, if you don't know it, you just like astrologers usually take like the 12 o'clock approach. Then if you'd have to know someone very very good to determine what time they might have been born. Like you, as a really good astrologer, you are able to do this in terms of seeing those qualities in people
Uh-huh.
to determine, okay, no, the moon could have not been there, probably was there. Like you can kind of do that, but oh, it would be so hard. Like it's really best really to know it. Otherwise, especially the moon and then all those aspects too, of course, they shift around all the time. So, I mean, it's pretty important to know the time.
Yeah,
Yeah, the more
yeah.
accurate it is.
Mhm. The friend I was telling you about, who was also an astrologer, who went to school for it, in her studies, she walked on this planet for, I don't know, over 40 years thinking she's an Aquarius. And
Mm.
then she studied astrology and went into the depth of because she's right on the cusp, and had to redo it and redid it 4 times, 4 or 5 times, and every time it came out that she's actually a Pisces.
Oh, wow. Well, I mean,
And
there is so many different ways to calculate it.
mhm,
Um, Plus, we have not only Western astrology, but we also have Vedic astrology, which I'm a completely different sign in Vedic astrology as well. Like, yeah,
oh,
it really depends what its preference, I would say, right? Like
mhm,
some people really go in resonance with Vedic astrology, some like the Western more, and even in the Western system, there's different types of calculations that you can use. There's
mhm,
also which is really interesting. So we talked about all those planets and all the zodiacs, and there's also location-based astrology,
mhm,
where you can like get a map of what lines on the planet are like beneficial for you to do certain things or not, right? Like,
Mhm.
or like energies that are that are not beneficial for you. So you
Yeah.
can see that according to like your natal chart
Mhm.
where those places are, which for me personally, when I looked at mine, I was like, are you serious? Like, this is insane because literally those places that were like beneficial for me or my blueprint were literally also places where I just felt always so like
Mhm.
good. And, then there's places where they're beautiful, but I didn't feel it there like, oh, I could live here or something like that. So
Mhm.
that exists as well. There's also something called, which is not really known, but there's something called Magi astrology.
Mhm.
And that type of astrology is Western astrology, but it's all about aspects.
Mhm.
And if you really wanna, what is the word? It's like all about geometry in your chart.
Mm.
And then they have like princess aspect and things like that. So, for example, very influential people in the past or even like now, most of them that have done like something very significant, right? They have those magi astrology like aspects in their chart, and you can like like it's at at a certain point where certain things happened, that those constellations in their natal chart were like the perfect symmetry.
Mhm.
That's kind of, if I have to explain it, it's hard to
Yeah.
explain it, but it's kind of how it works. So it's
Okay.
more like about calculating times
Mhm.
to do certain things. Like it's like a literally like kind of like a golden whatever, like it's,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's a lot of math. It's a lot
Oh
of
yeah.
math.
Yeah.
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 Mhm. There is no symmetry in my chart. It's all on one side.
Yeah.
Which I have been told because it's all on the right side that it's all, I guess it's if you look at the natal chart, like with mine, and it's all on one side, so it's on the right side if I look at it, that side is the side of fate,
Mhm.
that everything in my life is very fate driven and not really because of I'm not the one who is creating my life, so to speak. It's
Mhm.
all I have to flow, right? And it's given to me kind of, which is interesting because from a human design perspective, I'm a manifester and I'm like, how does this work?
I know, I mean, human design, that's like astrology on steroids for
Mhm.
me. It's, you can go very deep with that.
Yeah.
You can
Yeah.
go deep with astrology as well, but it just takes
Skill.
so much too.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
For sure. But you have, I mean, you know a lot of things. And I know that you took notes today, but I also know that you know a lot of things without notes. Like you just contain all of this information in your brain and it's very very magical to me when we talk about this and you always know what's up with the planets and but you also
Mm.
know what it means and not just what it says that it does. So that's very fascinating to me.
Yeah, I have one good example. For example, this year, was like this resonance again with astrology because I had my Jupiter return and I
Mhm.
didn't really know it. I looked at it at my chart afterwards. So with the transits, so you of course have your natal chart, but then you can also look at transits like current or in the future or past. And we bought a house at the beginning of this year, and I looked after we bought the house. I looked like, okay, how did my chart look?
Yeah.
And I had my Jupiter return right at
Mm.
that time when we bought the house. So that's like the Jupiter return means then there's something beneficial in that house. And my Jupiter is in second house, which is amazing to have Jupiter in your second house because it means wealth and, possessions. So yeah, pretty cool for sure. Like there was this
That was a lot, and again, I will put everything in the show notes, and if you have any other, websites where you can look up the other things that we just talked about, obviously, human design, I'm gonna send everybody to Medina, who was on the show before, but astrology, I will send people to you because I really do like how you do this.
Thank
Um,
you.
and if anyone has questions or comments or concerns or wants to know more, please don't hesitate to comment. I will get back to you fairly quickly, actually, or DM me on Instagram. That works too. And it was a pleasure to have you again on the show, as always, Anika,
Yes.
with the big subject.
Oh, big subject. I know. I know.
Yeah.
And we haven't
Um,
even talked about the whole fire, air, earth, and the fixable, mutable. There's so much to astrology. It's insane. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. But you're air, right?
Yeah, Libra. Yes.
Mhm. Mhm.
Air.
Yeah.
Which I also, it's hard even for me sometimes to know it for every sign. It's hard for me to retain all this information sometimes. Sometimes I'm not so sure and I have to look it up again.
Yeah. I just know by, because I know so many of them and I know where they go, and then I see, like, literally before my imaginary eye, I see the rest of them, and then I remember where they go.
Ah, okay.
So it's the, elimination tactic that I do. Thank you so much for being on the show, and,
Yes.
y'all give it a thumbs up, subscribe, comment, share, do whatever you need to do. And we will be back every Monday. Got a new episode dropping. So this was super fun, Anika. Thank you so much.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
All right, y'all. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for being here with me today. Leave a comment, give it a thumbs up, a review, and share it with somebody you think needs this. Have a fabulous day. See you next time.